I was tricked into being a free maid for 3 grown men. Here's what finally made me snap. So, here's the situation. I live with my boyfriend and his 3 sons. They are 20, 17, and 7 years old. When I first moved in, I was playing super stepmom. I mean, I was doing everything. I deep cleaned the entire house every single week, kept it spotless on a daily basis, handled all the grocery shopping, and did everyone's laundry. I was holding it down. But over time, the rose-colored glasses came off, and I realized something infuriating. The older 2 boys are absolutely incapable of cleaning up after themselves. And I'm not talking about leaving a stray cup on the coffee table. I'm talking about next-level messes. They will literally set their trash on the counter right above the trash can instead of just dropping it in. They'll pile dirty dishes next to the sink instead of inside it. And when they actually do try to wash dishes, they half-wash them, leaving food crusted on, and then place them on the drying mat. Sometimes they bypass washing entirely and just plop dirty food-covered dishes right onto the mat next to the clean ones. It doesn't stop there. They'll cook and leave grease splattered all over the stove. They spill food in the microwave and just leave it to bake into the walls. They leave crumbs covering every surface, pull out chairs and never push them back in, and essentially trash every single shared space in the house. And basic hygiene? Forget about it. They will use the last of the toilet paper and just leave the empty cardboard tube sitting there, even when the new rolls are right next to them. They'll also dump their dirty laundry all over the laundry room floor and leave it there for days, sometimes weeks. But guys, the absolute breaking point for me the moment I permanently retired from doing their laundry was when I picked up one of their shirts and realized it was soaked in cum. Yeah, I was done. Absolutely done. For a little context on these guys, the 20-year-old doesn't have a job, and the 17-year-old barely even goes to school. Neither of them plays sports or has any real-world responsibilities. You'd think they'd at least have daily chores, right? Nope. The 17-year-old's only jobs in the entire house are feeding the dog and taking the trash out once a week. He rarely actually does either of them, but guess what? He still completely expects and receives his allowance. Naturally, I brought this up to my boyfriend multiple times. At first, it just blew up into massive arguments because he immediately went on the defensive, acting like I was attacking his kids. Eventually, he agreed to try and implement some basic rules, but he never actually enforces them consistently, so absolutely nothing changes. So, I did the only thing I could do to save my own sanity. I went on strike. I completely stopped cleaning up after the older boys. Now, I only clean our shared bedroom and bathroom. I help out with the 7-year-old, and I do an occasional deep clean of the main areas. As a result, the house is way messier now. But honestly, I do not feel like it is my responsibility to play maid to 2 grown, or almost grown, men who refuse to do the bare minimum to survive. Well, now my boyfriend is throwing a fit. He tells me I'm overreacting, dismisses my very valid frustration by blaming it on my OCD, and constantly tries to make me feel like the problem just because I'm not playing Cinderella like I used to. It is causing a massive amount of tension between us. To give you guys the full picture, my boyfriend does work, and for the most part, he actually cleans up after his own messes. The core issue here is his total refusal to enforce rules with his older kids. Whenever I try to bring it up, he accuses me of trying to pit him against his sons, which is definitely not my intention. A big part of this stems from the fact that he is used to his ex handling absolutely everything as a stay-at-home mom. When I first moved in, he actually asked me to step into that exact role, and for a while, I did. But it just became way too much. He promised for a long time that he would actually pay me for doing all the domestic labor, but then we hit some financial issues, so fighting for that money wasn't my top priority. Spoiler alert, I am already planning my exit. I'm completely checked out. I just need to find a new job and stack up some cash before I can actually pack my bags and walk out the door. But until I can afford to leave, I need to know. I really don't feel like I'm asking for anything crazy here, just basic cleanliness and for adults to clean up after themselves. I am so stressed and resentful. Am I the asshole?